All right, boys and girls, let's gather round. Here's how I lost 100 pounds. So, in the thumbnail, I'm gonna put a picture of me at my heaviest, and then me at kind of maybe my fittest because I had access to so much stuff. I'm still pretty fit now, but that was kind of maybe my peak back then. I haven't begun to peak, but So that's me, and if you don't believe that, here's a little proof. Can you see the stretch marks? Ooh, same person, okay? So, how did it begin? How did it begin? The inciting incident was a friend of mine. He lost 90 pounds by himself. So at that point, I thought, I was a teenager, by the way. I thought, goodness gracious, a real person, not an actor or a model. He lost 90 pounds by himself. That means if I don't do it, it's on me. Because it obviously can be done. So then I began my 7-year journey to lose 100 pounds. If you're thinking, 7 years? What took you so long? Are you stupid? There's so many better ways to do it than what this whole thing you're telling us that you did. That's cool, man. If you want to go back in time and tell past me, that would be nice. So what I started off doing was walking. That's kind of the most basic thing you do when you're trying to lose weight. You walk. So I walked 10, 15 minutes near my home, walked back, half an hour. I raised it up a little bit over a few months or some such time frame. What was it? Maybe 6 months I did that. And then luckily for me, we had an elliptical in our home. Those machines, you grab them, you walk. I did that for 30 to 45 minutes every other day. I started off at about 30 and I got up to 45. And that went on for about a year. I lost a decent amount of weight there. I forgot the exact amount, maybe 15, 20, something like that. So that was when I was a teenager, and once I started college, I had access to a lot more stuff. I had access to treadmills, free weights, power racks, all this stuff. So what I did was started using the treadmill to run. I followed this little HIIT program. It was about 15 minutes on the treadmill. I forgot the exact formula. It was something like walk 2 minutes, run a minute, jog 2 minutes, walk 2 minutes, run like something like that for 12 to 15, or until I hit a mile. I really hated it, so I kind of cut it a bit. I made sure I did it, but I did what I said I wanted to do. My own specific time goal. So during that time as well, in college, I had access to all these weights. So what I also did was follow this program by this guy named Jason Blaha. It's called Jason Blaha Ice Cream Fitness 5x5 Novice Program. I'm going to link it in the description. Just know I didn't follow it to the letter. There were a lot of things there that I wasn't ready for, such as barbell deadlifting, barbell squatting. Was not ready for that yet. I didn't want to kind of kill myself before I got going, right? So I modified that. Instead of barbell squatting, I would take some dumbbells and squat, lunge, or something like that. The one barbell exercise I was comfortable with was barbell rows. Those were good. And then eventually, obviously I did these things for real. The full program I was incorporating into my everyday thing. I mean, my every other day thing. So I did that. That was within the 4-year college period as well. They also had a track in this college, so I would run around no more than a mile, just 4 times, and it would be whatever speed I felt like. I started off jogging, running, slow down, run again, whatever. As long as I hit those 4 laps. So during college, I also did this program called Insanity. It's by this guy named Shaun T. To this day, probably one of the worst things I ever did. Not in terms of benefits, but just mentally, it was rough. It was 6 weeks, 5 days a week, just doing calisthenics, jumping around, burpees, high knee stuff, just doing all this stuff. That was rough. Now, obviously, for this period, I wasn't doing anything in the gym for free weights. This was like my exercise, period. So after I finished these 6 weeks, it might be eight, but I think it was six. Um, I lost about 2 pounds from that. I was pretty. I mean, my thighs were thicker. I was like, I got stronger, but I lost 2 pounds. What? So I kind of did some more research, and I'm going to expand on this in a later video. But the main issue was my nutrition was not on point. So at that time, I did some research, got my nutrition on point, and then that's kind of why everything that happens after this gave me a lot more progress. So yeah, I continued on with my weightlifting, my cardio, and I did another program called Rush Fit from George St. Pierre, the MMA fighter. That was a lot more fun. You need two dumbbells for it, um, because it involves free weights and a mix of that and calisthenics. A lot more fun for me. I hate cardio, so working more with weights was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that program. I think I did it twice. It's still challenging, not as much as Insanity. That one just it lives up to the namesake. It's just insane. So I'm gonna link that in the description too, because Rush Fit you can find on YouTube. Um, I don't advocate for piracy, but I'm just saying, I found something. Look, you can click the link and find it too. So after that, after college, I stuck with my my weightlifting, my resistance training, and that took up a lot of my life, a lot of my time. So eventually, after a couple years, I quit the garbage job I was doing at the time, and I studied for my personal training certification with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I became a trainer. So that all took about 7 years. Now, if I had known then what I know now, I could do all this in 2 years or less. That's what happens when you don't know what the hell you're doing. So hopefully with some of the stuff that I put on the channel coming soon, anyone who has a similar goal can do this. Maybe not in 2 years because you still have to learn too, but you can learn from my mistakes and my waffling about, and do this a lot faster. So hopefully that's the case. Like I said, I'll link some of the stuff I did in the description. But yeah, this is how I lost 100 pounds. I'm not saying this is how to lose 100 pounds. Just what I went through. I went through a lot. So hopefully, there's a bit of trust in the process here. And yeah, hopefully if you stick with me, you can learn some stuff to not take 7 years.